I'd like to thank you for taking a few minutes to stay after Mass to hear this first State of the Parish address. So I want to start by answering the question of where did we come from? Some of you may be aware of our history and some of you may not. But from the beginning of our history, we have been a parish on the move and one of change. In 1852, we were established in Springfield at a time when we were actually part of the Archdiocese of New York. Our dedication took place on December 16th, 1852, with our first pastor being Father Bernard McQuaid. He became president of the then Seton Hall College and later made Bishop of Rochester, New York. In 1868, Seton Hall moved from Madison to South Orange, and the priest community of Seton Hall became responsible for St. Rose of Lima. Father Louis Schneider, a professor from Seton Hall, became the pastor, and he purchased land for a cemetery, a convent, a rectory, a church, and he also opened our first school. In 1880, our wooden church was moved to Short Hills and was subsequently replaced in 1909 with a brick structure. In 1945, under Monsignor John Ryan, we remodeled the church and enlarged the school. 1968, Bishop John Doherty, president of Seton Hall University, was named pastor. He was a council father of the Second Vatican Council and formed the parish in a conciliar spirit. We had many years of change and growth. We also had our share of challenges. 1998, Monsignor George Trebald was named pastor. Under his leadership, the parish continued to grow and thrive. As the dark cloud loomed, Monsignor stepped down from ministry in 2014 amidst allegations of sexual misconduct. He was subsequently cleared of such allegations and sadly went home to God a month later on April 17th, 2022. Many were able to gather to celebrate his life and see an end to his suffering and that of a community that loved him. The sadness of what happened to Monsignor is not the only dark cloud in our history. We had the likes of Father Alex Orozco, Father Michael Fuji, and Father Kevin Gugliotta. Since 2014, I am the 7th leader we have had here at St. Rose. Father Chris Burns stepped in twice as temporary administrator, and Father Donald Gunther also served as temporary administrator. We had Father John Gabriel as administrator, followed by our pastors, Father John McCrone, and most recently, Monsignor Robert Harahan. The 1st of July, 2022, I entered this soon-to-be 170-year history, a river that continues to carry us on our journey home to God. So where are we? For some, the history I just mentioned was interesting, and the names mean nothing. For others, the names may provoke some anger, and still for others, some names may provoke sadness. As a post-COVID community, some members of our St. Rose family have been so enraged that they have left us and found nearby homes to celebrate the love of God. Some have stayed away and watched from a distance to see where we are going. Many have remained, and others have joined us. We are struggling and a broken community, and yet one filled with hope, resilience, and excitement as we have and continue to weather the various challenges that have come our way. We no longer receive the financial support that we once received. Our family home is falling apart. The front stairs are a hazard, and a liability and must be replaced, as this is not an option. The HVAC system in the church and the Divine Center must also be replaced, and likewise, these are not options. The columns in the front of the church are in serious need of repair. What is it that we need to do? First, we must and we will rebuild our community, our family. We must and will maintain our buildings. We must begin the work sooner than later to avoid other unnecessary darknesses. So the question becomes, how do we rebuild our community/family? We must learn to trust one another, as we cannot undo the past, but rather trust in the Lord and move forward to continue to make a difference. We must do this together, and I know that it will take some time. This trust must be approached with caution, and I will do my very best to not only earn your trust, but to help us also trust in one another. We will slowly let go of the past anger and see the good that is the gift from those who went before us. There must be, and there will be, open and honest communication. It is my hope that you will see this as a step in that direction, because I do not know any other way to be. We will achieve and maintain fiscal responsibility. We must see ourselves as more than just someone else's cash cow. In the 3.5 months that I have been here, I have made the following efforts and decisions to help us with our rebuilding. I have been listening to the experiences of many people and trying to accept as many invitations as possible to meet with groups, families, and individuals to learn their personal story and their version of the history of our St. Rose family. I have been attempting, when asked, to revitalize many of our old groups and committees, not to recreate yesterday, rather to serve our needs of today and our tomorrows. To replace the front stairs of our family home, which at this point is not an option, will cost us approximately $400,000. To replace the HVAC system in our family home and the Divine Center will also cost us another $400,000. We currently have the money in reserve, but we will come close to depleting the reserve. In order to keep us financially healthy, we will sell one of the properties across the street from our main campus. I have discussed this with the staff and the Finance Council, and we are in the process of taking the steps to make that happen. We are moving our reserve monies to our investment management account, where we will get 2% interest quarterly. I have changed our phone system provider, which will save us $21,600 annually. We are renting parking spaces to our students for the high school and those who need to use the train to commute to the city. The idea of renting the parking space came about at the request of some of our students and parishioners, as many local residents already rent their driveways. This income will allow us to do snow removal in-house, and based on last year's snow removal bill, save us approximately $67,000. We are in the process of looking at the possibility of solar panels on the roof of the school, hoping to be able to feed the church building as well, which will give us a substantial savings in electricity. On November 27th, Cardinal Tobin will be here to officially install me as your pastor. That weekend is also the beginning of the new church calendar. It is the beginning of the liturgical year and a new beginning for us as a family. As I stated in preparation for this day, this is not a gathering to ask you for money. With that being said, As we move forward, I cannot ask you to do what I will not do myself. So just a little information about me and my finances. My current gross salary is a little over $24,000. I net approximately $16,000. My salary is so high because I get an extra $100 a month for being the pastor of this awesome institution. It is my desire and my intention to pledge $5,000 towards our steps to be paid over the next 12 months. No, I am not asking you to do anything. I told you my salary to set up a perspective of what $5,000 means for me. Down the road, I will have to come before you to possibly request some financial assistance in maintaining our family and our family home. But until then, I needed you to know who we are from my perspective, where we come from a historical perspective, and where I think we need to go. I just wanted to remind you also that, as I said, this weekend is simply a time for me to present this picture to you. Next weekend, I will be available after each and every Mass to answer any questions you may have about what I said or something else that is on your mind. Thank you again for taking the time to listen. I am most grateful to be here, and I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will do so more after I get to know you better. Take care, and God bless.